Greetings once again, everyone. Welcome to another installment of Mama May Plays Minecraft. I'm Mama May, and I'm so glad that you joined me today. I hope that you're doing well, and I'm so excited to share this session with you. So today we're going to film episode 9, which I am going to show you all how I use structure blocks to create some quick buildings. And also, today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to populate a village so that I won't be so lonesome here in my little sanctuary. And so, what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I've scouted before a small area. Hopefully, I can find it again. That's pretty clear of trees. And I'm going to populate a village in this area. So I think it's right over here. So I apologize for how long it has been since I have filmed an episode. As you all are aware, I know, we have updated to the water update, Minecraft version 1.13. And what happened is they completely redid the formats of functions and structures. And I just had to get myself back up to speed and make sure that all my functions worked, which they do. So I think this is my area here. So I'm going to show you guys one of my functions right now. And so you can see that the way that the command lines have changed. So I just tabbed over, and now I'm going to go into design mode, which is a function I wrote that puts me into creative mode if I'm not already in it. And it gives me some items that I need for designing. So the first thing I need to do is orient myself facing east. So there's my sun, which is in the east when I'm in frozen mode. And I have to decide where I would like the center of my little village to be. And I think I'm going to center it right about here. Okay. So the way that I do my village is this poor tree is going to get decimated. I apologize for that tree. But what happens is I place my structure block. And if you haven't played with structures and you do like cheats and you like building, I do recommend that you go ahead and follow some of these YouTube videos if you wish, or execute some of your own builds. And then save the fabulous constructions that you've made and give them some interesting names. My names are very uninteresting, unfortunately. But you do have to know what size they are and where the bottom northwest corner of each structure is going to be. So you can see that I have put mine at x and z equals 0, but y equals negative 13. I'm going to include the entities, which for my well, there aren't any, but for my other pieces you're going to see, there will be. So I'm going to go ahead and load up my well. And so now you can kind of see the little outlines, and believe it or not, that line goes down 13 more blocks. And once I know that it's where I want it, I go ahead and hit load, and boom. There is my gorgeous, gorgeous circular well. Okay, this is the center of my village. So I'm going to go ahead and find, this is the easiest corner to do because it also faces east. I do have 4 village corners. So let's see what they look like. And again, this is because I've created these. I know that each of these needs to go down by 1 block. I did populate them with villagers, so I'm going to go ahead and load this just as is. I'm going to pick up these seeds. Okay. And there's a little bit of a lag, so I do apologize for that for this video. I'm not even picking up these seeds. That's how bad the lag is. I guess that's one way to tell if I'm ready is when the seeds pop into my inventory. Doesn't seem to want to do that. I'll go load up the other ones while that's working. So the opposite one over here, let me go ahead and demonstrate how this works. Oops. So it just heard a pop, so I can see that my outline is ready. So I'm going to go ahead and after it has preloaded and prepared my file, I'm going to go ahead and load it. And we are dealing with some lag today. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kill that structure block. And just to show you, so this, yep, it dug right into the hillside. It replaced the hill. But this one is called the butcher corner because of the butchers. I've got two of them here and a small little house. Okay, so I'm going to come down here and the opposite corner from the butcher. So I have 4 corners and they are locked in because I've only created 4. But if you wanted to create, say, 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, you can mix and match. I have a butcher, a library, a church, and just a bunch of houses. So let's go ahead and put the church on this one. Again, -1. Now, here's the trick. Only one of my corners faces east. This one faces west, so it'll be a 180-degree turn. Okay, that one's going to take a few minutes too. So while that's happening and we're just waiting, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about what I've been doing. Again, I have been updating my functions so that they match the 1.13 formats and will be functional again. I had such a heck of a time trying to port my resource pack over, and the only thing in the resource pack are my glowstones. I just did not like the way the glowstones looked, so I just kind of copied the sea lantern pattern for the glowstones, just so I had a pretty little glowstone instead of that nasty looking paisley glowstone that comes with the default package. And now you can see my church is prepared. And so, as it turns out, the only thing that I had to do was in the original folders for a resource pack. The subfolder for block textures was called blocks. In the new 1.13, it's actually called block, singular. And boy, it took me days to figure out that. And if you've done any programming, you know that from language to language, there's nothing different except the vocabulary and the syntax. So if you're going from one programming language to another programming language, it's just learning the new vocabulary. The actual functionality of creating code is very similar from one platform to another. And it was just hilarious when I finally figured out what the problem with my resource pack was. So hopefully, if any of you are having the same trouble porting your own resource packs from 1.12 to 1.13, your subfolder needs to be singular. So let's just put houses over here. Okay. And entities on. Now I have to figure out which direction I'm facing. So I believe If that's east and before was west, this is north. So north is going to be a 270-degree turn, and we won't know until it populates because, again, of the lovely lag we're dealing with today. But once you see those outlines, and if the outlines are overlaying in the wrong direction, you do have a chance to update before you hit the load button again. I'm going to go ahead and place my structure block there. I will go ahead and wait. But have you noticed I do have villagers in my village, and I did give them all careers and professions and name tags just so I know when I go up to meet one of these folks who it is and what it is I might be able to trade with them. So these are just cutting out swaths of land. Okay, and you will notice that I do have, oh, did I break this? Oh my goodness. Hmm. Okay, folks. I have, hopefully I didn't break anything, but let's see. It looks like it's broken, but it's not. It went the correct direction here, but my outline is going the wrong way. So I'm just hoping that's part of the lag. Okay, and let's come over here and do the last one. Okay, so again, there's my sun, so that's east, and this will be south. So my corner is going to be south, and I believe the only one that I haven't done so far is the library. And that's going to be a 90-degree turn. Okay. Hello, Master Tradesman. You're kind of freaking me out here a little bit. You're going to get buried in the ground, buddy. Okay, so other news, in personal news, I did not realize that my last video was actually in April, so I really apologize for neglecting all of you. But I made a cross-country move in this summer. I moved in July from horrible, horrible New Mexico to a wonderful, wonderful Virginia. I am actually home, so that's doubly sweet. And you will see that I will be a lot more positive these days. So let's go ahead and hit load on this one. And you can see when the items pop there. And the only thing that is kind of weird is that my lilac plants don't seem to populate. So they populate busted. So I have to go around and replant my lilac. Yes. So that's just kind of one little thing that I do. Another thing that I do have some structure blocks for these grass paths, but I'll probably come in here and manually break down these grass and dig in some path blocks there for my folks. And then I'll probably do some landscaping here so that the formation of the village into the landscape is a little bit more natural rather than these great big cubed cliffs you see right here. But that is because this is the corner. Oops. This is the corner of my village corner. Okay. For those of you who might want to experiment a little bit with structure saving and structure placing, There is a limit of 32 by 32. So if you do create, oh, lovely how it just chopped my trees right in half. Um, if you do create a structure that is over 32 by 32, so for example, those of you who've been following along with me, you know that I like to make my Chinese courtyard house. Well, I did build that on screen for you guys manually. However, obviously, since I love that structure, I did save it. And whenever I create a new world, or if I travel into far distant lands on the same world, as eventually I will leave my little tether here from my spawn point, when I get to a nice landscape that I want to call my new home for a while, I'll probably use a structure block to put up that lovely Chinese courtyard house. I've also copied a couple of structures from some of my favorite YouTubers. The one that I follow a lot is Raziel. He has some beautiful builds for suburban houses, modern houses. I like to use one of his modern houses as a town hall kind of a thing for a bit more modern towns. And yes, I do have a way to build each of these houses singly instead of all at once like this. But I love this village. This is one of my standard villages. I do swap out which corner goes where. That was absolutely random. I don't know if you guys could tell, but that was random, and I do like to just switch it up sometimes. Eventually, I will probably lay out some more village corners and save them just to change up the mixes that I can have. I also want to create some out of different palettes. So maybe a desert village and a desert circle well. But I just haven't gotten around to doing that. Motivation and time. That cuts into my mining and block breaking. But I certainly do love to build. So these, just so you guys know, you can do one of two things. You can rebuild these villages, I'm sorry, village structures, or if you create a flat world and go and look at some of the villages, you can actually save those structures singly, individually, so that you don't have to build them. You can just save it, copy it, and then go and build it somewhere else all at once with a single command. So I hope that was fun for you guys. And hopefully I will be doing some more frequent videos so that you guys can follow along with my cheating adventures. I don't actually hack. You guys know that. I'm using the in-game command lines and using the built-in tools that allow you to play and do these lovely cheating things. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye for today. I'm very glad you were able to join me. As always, if you enjoyed the session, I'd love it if you would light up that thumbs up for me. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and turn on your notifications to be alerted whenever I post my next video. Until next time, my friends.